is Inside Eagles Redzone podcast here live on Monday, December 9th, 2024. It's Victory Monday, and I'm Eric Williams, and I'm joined as always by my co-host, Mr. Matt Namo. Matt, what's going on?
Biggie, how you doing today, my brother? It is Victory Monday. Some people around this area would choose to not believe that, but I'm excited and glad we're getting to talk about this. So we're in
Yep,
for a good
agree.
show.
Yes, agree 100%. We are very much a uh, a happy podcast today. Um, whether you listen to other sports media in the in the Philadelphia market, um, the sky would be falling according to some of this media and reading some of this media. And yeah, but Matt, the Eagles team is 11-2. They beat the Carolina Panthers yesterday, 22-16. We'll get into all of that plus more. But Matt, let's get into the big thing that, well, the conversation that we kind of talked about earlier today, and that is um, the conversation about Jalen Hurts. And we'll kind of keep saying the same thing. Uh, for the last, what, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, you know, the topic in this city was that the Eagles didn't run the ball enough. Would you say that is correct?
Yes, that is definitely correct.
Okay. So this team went out and got one of the best running backs Philadelphia has ever seen. Would you say I'm correct?
You are definitely correct.
Okay. And that man is Saquon Barkley. Um, the Eagles paid big money to Saquon Barkley. The Eagles started off the season kind of okay. They were 2-2 before the bye week. This team had an identity where a lot of people questioned the quarterback, they questioned the head coach, but they were okay with the offensive coordinator. They were questionable about the defense. Would you call that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So everything that I've said so far hasn't been too much of a reach.
No, not at all.
But over the last, I would say, 24 hours, this city, for the last, this 9-game winning streak, the Eagles' offense has found a way to get things done. And now the popular conversation is that the quarterback can't play again. That the quarterback can't make reads. The offense doesn't look good. And I'm literally sitting here going, I haven't changed my opinion on this team. I will hear all these things, Matt, and go, yeah, it does not change. None of that stuff changes my opinion on this football team. We're 11-2. If the Eagles can play the way that they've been playing for the next couple games, they will be the 2 seed. Okay, they will have home playoff game and to start the playoffs. I do not understand the amount of anger that comes from with Jalen Hurts. Now it is not a run the ball. It is now we want the ball. We want them to pass the ball. Do you have anything that you want to say about that?
Um, I do understand the concerns about the passing game because this game in particular was, I think, extremely odd, but you have people solely focusing on the negative aspect of the game, and I think the problem with that is something. It's something that we talked about last week. It's something that we've talked about before, but people are only looking at the record of the opponent. And you go into that game yesterday, if you are your average run of the mill person, if you are a fan but not, Eric, you said something we talked before the show, and you labeled us as like we're fans, but we're like a different level, and it's
Yeah,
not.
we're a different breed. We're
Yes.
not. Yeah, I'll say it on the air for people that are not listening, going, hey, where's this pre-show thing? But you know, I'm kind of right there with you. Like you've kind of alluded to this in the past about having, about hating this fan base and hating the the idea of some these ideas that some of these fans around the cooler, because I call it cooler talk,
Yep.
and honestly, like that's what it is. It's just cooler talk. It's not like nobody has like X's and O's and breaks down like the game, and we've already alluded to the fact that we think 80% of this fan base pays attention to games strictly on their phone. I'm not saying watching the game on their phone. I'm saying is on social media during the games, not paying attention to where guys are on the field and what is happening, like a true fan. I think about 20%, unless you're at a game where like you have to pay attention. But even then, Matt, and I said this to you earlier, and I think it's a great point, and I have to bring it up, is when you're at a game and you're live there, yeah, you're taking in the action, you're taking in the sights and the sounds of a football game, you're paying your hard-earned money. But Matt, you know as well as I do, I'm not sitting at the 50-yard line. I don't got the money for that. That's $500-$600. I know most of us, that anybody that listens to this podcast, probably not paying that coin. Um, so you're seeing a view of like, like, dude, we were at the Linc in April for WrestleMania. We didn't get to see an up close fucking action
Nope.
of WrestleMania. We saw, we were up in the fucking, in the, we were up there. Um, so we didn't get to see like close action of like what the moves look like. And you probably watched WrestleMania back, and you watched it back. Um, but when you're watching a game on television, you're able, and even like if you want to watch it on all 22, like we watch a lot of things on all 22. We watch condensed games. We check out, like, we watch games multiple times, and I'll probably watch it again, before tomorrow.
Yep.
But like I've watched the condensed game already, and I watched it. I'll probably watch it again when you do Take Tuesday to kind of get into to that, and to kind of see what you're looking at. And when you send me the clips, I watch the clips too. Um, but I think I can put myself in a category, me and you, in a category of we're actually paying attention to the game. We're paying attention, and we're not just like when we say things, we think long and hard about what we're saying before we say it. We're not quick. Like, I can be a little angry, and I will preface things with, hey, this is kind of my knee-jerk reaction to this. Where I'll say, hey, like, oh, Nick, like, Howie should be fired for that move. Dude, that's a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah.
So I can't, like, when I say certain things, sometimes it just comes off the tip of my tongue. It'll just come off, and it'll just be like, okay, like, I said that. Okay, and then I'll walk it back. If I'm wrong, hey, I'll walk it back and say I was wrong because that was a knee-jerk reaction, or it came off of the tip of my tongue. And like some things, like you've said things you didn't really mean to say, or it just like like I said, a knee-jerk reaction. And sometimes you kind of have to like take a step back, think about it, and go, yeah. But I don't think this fan base, Matt, like I think they die on a hill. When they say certain things about this team, they say things. They die on the hill. They don't want to be that fan base that walks things back and say, yeah, I kind of watched that back again, and I maybe I saw it a different light. Would you kind of agree with that?
100%. And I also don't think people. I think a lot of people, and I mean, I'm don't. It's not like making fun of them or laughing at them, but I really don't think people watch around the league. I think a lot of people want to die on a hill, especially, oh, it's my team. I feel like I know my team, but and it's something we've talked about plenty of times, but people don't watch around the league because, okay, I'll be the first to admit, yesterday I thought they were going to win that game by 10. But going into it, if you listen to our show Thursday, and if you have watched like the last 3-4 weeks, I know we have said Carolina, they're playing tough, and even when the schedule came out, I half-heartedly joked that they were going to lose that game just looking at the schedule, because look at where it falls and where, just like, even to throw the record out the window. You knew Carolina wasn't going to be great this year, but look where the game has fallen. Week 10, they played Dallas. 11, Thursday night football on a short week against Washington. Sunday night football against the Rams. 4:25 game on the road against Baltimore, and then you go home, play Carolina, and then follow that Carolina game is sandwiched between the Washington, the Rams, Baltimore, and then next week, obviously, they play Pittsburgh. So when the schedule alone came out, that's why I know Cress, our good friend, was kind of joking, and that's why I said it, just looking at the schedule. When the schedule came out in May, I thought I flagged Week 14 against Carolina as a scary game. And then, yes, okay, Carolina's bad. If you watch the last 3-4 weeks, they've been playing a lot better football. And we talked about it while we were watching the game yesterday and throughout the week last week. When you get to this point in the season, you throw the records out. Because Carolina, yeah, we're not making. If you're Carolina, okay, we're not making the playoffs. So what's our goal here? I want to figure out what guys on this roster I'm keeping for next year and who we're building with, and we have an opportunity to go mess up a team's playoff chances.
Yep.
So that's what we're going to play for. These teams that are 3-9 or 2-11 or 4 wins, like a team like Cleveland, a team like Carolina, if you have some talent, like, okay, even the Raiders that don't have a lot of talent, they played Tampa Bay tough yesterday for 3 quarters. They played Kansas City tough 2 weeks ago on Thanksgiving, or last week on Black Friday. Like, you're at this point in the season where you're going to look at the record on paper and be like, this is a bad football team, but you kind of have to throw that out. Cleveland 2 weeks ago beats Pittsburgh on a Thursday night. Yeah, they lost to them last week, but that was a game. Pittsburgh's riding high on a winning streak. They have a chance to really take a stranglehold of the division, and they lose to Cleveland. Cleveland's not a good football team. Cleveland, just last week, Denver, not a great football team, but in the playoff picture, Cleveland gave them a run for their money in a game where Cleveland could have just on the road. Monday Night Football could have easily folded and just said, all right, we're here. There it is. But no, they go and give Denver a run for their money and have to battle. You've seen New England kind of battle teams over the last couple weeks. The Jets, they stink. They gave Miami, a team that's trying to fight their way back into the playoff berth. They took that team to overtime yesterday. No reason for the Jets to be in that game. At this point in the season, you throw the records out the window, and I think people need to understand that. Yes, if we're talking about specifically this Eagles and Panthers game, yes. I think this is their worst performance probably since the Cleveland game in Week 6. That's okay. They still found a way to win the game. They averaged 7 yards per carry on the ground yesterday. And the passing offense, I get why people are nervous about it. to circle back to our original point, I get why people are nervous, but you have to understand. Throw the record out. Carolina gave you a lot of different looks yesterday. They played a lot. They blitzed a lot. They sent a lot of pressure. And there were some plays that Jalen made that were very good and very great. And there were plays he's going to watch the tape back and want to have back. The ultimate goal is, and this is what I think people really need to look at, because you're going to look. I heard people talk, oh, if you play Buffalo, you're going to have to score points. What you have to do in these games is make more, especially if you're looking at quarterback play. Your quarterback, and you will, if you do this in every game, your team will be in position to win and will likely win a higher percentage of games than lose if your quarterback makes more plays than the opposing quarterback. It's something we've probably been talking about for a year and a half. Overall, when you look at quarterback play, if your quarterback can make 5 plays and their quarterback only makes 4, you're going to win. That's basically what happened yesterday. Jalen Hurts didn't have a good game. He missed open receivers. He made a couple good throws. But he made a couple plays with his legs and a couple plays with his arm. And he executed, and the team executed 1 to 2 more plays than Carolina did. And you win the game. You took a punch in the face. It was ugly. But you still ran for 7 yards per carry as a team. The defense made the stop when you need it. Your defense hasn't played that poorly since Tampa Bay, because the defense played great against Cleveland. Your defense hasn't played that bad in 10 weeks. Not the prettiest win. This is a tape you're going to throw out unless you're going up against Tampa or another NFC South team. But I'm telling you right now, I think people are making a lot bigger deal of this than they really have to. They made enough plays through the air that they needed to. Yes, you want Jalen to have 150 yards or 200 yards and not 88. But there's things they can do. There's plays that are open that he needs to just be confident and make the throw with. But he made plays with his legs. They ran the ball very well. And he made more plays than Bryce Young. And he win the game.
And you mentioned something with his passing game. There's a couple things that I want to kind of throw out there, and we'll, you can tackle it as I talk about it. But the one thing about Jalen Hurts, from what we've talked about since for a minute now. Okay, so the last time he threw an interception, all right, so he has 1 interception since September 29th. Okay, that interception came against Dallas, in Dallas. Okay, so that turnover, he hasn't thrown a pick in 4 weeks. Okay, all right, so 4 games. Before that, his last pick was September 22nd against New Orleans. He threw another pick against Atlanta. He threw 2 picks against Green Bay. He's not turning the ball over with the passing game. Okay, but let's talk about the fact that they want them throwing more. Okay, Matt, we were together week 1 in Green Bay. We were watching the game against Green Bay. Jalen Hurts went 20 of 34. Okay, 278 yards and 2 touchdowns. They threw the ball. I don't have the running stats, but I have the passing stats. Okay, but he carried the ball 13 times for 33 yards. Okay, so he's still running the ball. Okay, he's running the ball. The following week, he threw 30 times against Atlanta. They took a loss. Okay, they lost by a point. They threw 38 times against New Orleans, and a win in a game that we took that loss. It could have been that loss right there. They play Tampa. They throw 30 times. They significantly started to lower the amount of throws that he was throwing. They went to the running game. Okay? And today, Matt, I was talking to somebody who I've already mentioned this off air to you, and they said, well, with the running game, defenses will throw 8 in the box.
Doesn't matter.
And exactly what I said. I said you have one of the best offensive lines in football, who is going to wear down opposing defenses with how good they are. They will get a run. They will get a big run, probably one out of eight, 9 times.
And I'm telling you right now, as
They
long
run the
as
ball at will. They can run the ball at will.
well, yeah, and as long as AJ Brown and Devontae Smith are on the field, you cannot put 8 in the box.
Right, because then they will open up the passing game.
Yeah.
You cannot stop the and somebody Jules. Shout out to Jules. Shout out to the entire watch party from yesterday. We had a fucking some people show up, and definitely definitely worthwhile if you haven't already. We definitely stream the games. And but she asked what our thoughts on the AJ Brown conversation was, like the thing. So yeah, and our good friend of the podcast, Mr. Marcus Hayes, put out another article because he likes to go after AJ Brown. But AJ after the game kind of made comment that the passing game needs to be more open, and I get it. But dude, they are everybody and their mother. We love drama in the city of Philadelphia. Me, I'm going to mention it in passing. I don't think there's a problem at all.
I don't. They can open it up, but I don't think it's a problem.
Yeah, of course they can open it up. But then guess what's going to happen? Then you're going to see. Here's my thing. People think that in Carolina, man, and yesterday, I'll give credit to Bryce Young. Bryce Young played pretty well against that Eagles defense. He used his legs. He used his Is he a fucking top 20 quarterback? No. Did he play hard yesterday? Yeah, I think so.
He is going to next year. There will be talks of, oh my God, Bryce Young looks so much better.
Yeah, unless something happens.
Because that quarterback that we saw yesterday, that we saw against Tampa, and that we've seen against Kansas City, is not the quarterback that you saw the first 6 weeks of the season.
How was it? He got benched. Came back, and he looks like a different quarterback. Yeah, it's 100% true. But this whole AJ thing, people think that there's trouble brewing again with AJ Brown.
No, Eric, and we said it yesterday after the game. First drive next week against Pittsburgh, you're getting a deep shot to AJ Brown. Got to. And then you know what? He's going to catch it. He's going to catch it, or they'll get a pass interference call. The crowd will be happy. AJ's going to get riled up and celebrate. And then if they don't complete it, or if they complete it, they'll hit it later in the game, and everyone's going to shut the fuck up about it.
And that's exactly. Yeah, it's just. These people want to create a narrative.
If they win that game by 10 yesterday, no one's talking about it. It's and I get it. The water series, the pass game needs to open up a little bit. I get it because you want the option to be there when you need it to. If you want to be able to throw the ball. Of course. Of course, you want to be able to throw the ball. But there are times, even though this passing offense, for the most part, I would say as a whole, over the last 4 weeks, the pass game's kind of been under wraps. But there's stretches of each game where they pass and you just go, okay, they can probably do this all game long, and it's unstoppable. But when it boils down to it, what this team is made to do, how they're structured, they're built to be a run team. And this run attack you cannot stop. Dude, they averaged 7 yards per carry yesterday as a team. Barkley alone averaged like 7.5. Kenny Gainwell popped off. Hurts popped off. If you average 7 yards per carry as a team, you're not going to throw the ball a lot. And I don't think it's necessary. I don't think what A.J. Brown is talking about is like the number of pass attempts. I just think there's some things with Jalen where I think ultimately the pass game is kind of under wraps because Jalen does not want to turn the ball over. And you know what? He's not doing it and they're winning, so it's okay. But I want him to know, and I think you will see that against Pittsburgh, because this is what this team does. Like, this team is good enough to where they kind of just skate through things. You didn't need to go all out yesterday. Like, even when they were trailing in the first and second quarter yesterday, like, you didn't allow Carolina to get a lead to where you're like, oh my God, I'm worried. So they didn't really have to dive deep into the playbook. They had a very vanilla game plan, and I think that's okay. That's what you want to do against a team that you are more talented than. Like, that's the situation. You're more talented than Carolina. Carolina's going to play you tough, but you're more talented than them. So there's those types of games. Even when Carolina had the lead, it was like, all right, the talent is going to outlast Carolina. And Carolina got some lucky breaks yesterday. You get that fourth down play where Jalen Carter bats it, and somehow, some way, it falls right into Adam Thielen's hands on a fourth down that they end up scoring on 2 plays later. Guess what? I know you can't take that away, but you take that away, you win that game by 13. Yeah. Whoa. So, and then no one's bitching. But, like, this team hasn't been forced to pass since the bye week. And I think there are plays there that they can open it up. But Jalen's just playing. He is playing like your prototypical game manager. And it's okay because they're winning. I think Pittsburgh's going to give you a little bit of a challenge against the run. So I think they are going to try to silence those passing game critics. And when Jalen throws for 225 and 2 touchdowns next week with no picks, we're going to be like, oh, shit, see, I guess. And then the fans are going, oh, see, look at this. But it's because they struggled yesterday where now it's a big deal. And then, God forbid, a star wide receiver says we need to, like, open up the pass game. Who'd have thought? But, of course, we're going to try to make that a bigger deal than what it is.
You know, as we're talking, Matt, and, like, I'm looking at stuff on, the phone, I'm really starting to see people come to Jalen Hurts' defense in regards to the passing game, and like I'm literally like I wanted to send you like 20 messages just now.
Yeah.
But like, like as I'm reading this, and dude, maybe we'll get into that conversation. But like, I was talking to a friend of mine this morning, Mr. Z. Shout out to Mr. Z. You know who you are. You listen to this program, but we were chatting about the love that this fan base, and it's a conversation we've had before, the love of this fan base for guys that struggle. Not to kind of talk about the Phillies because it's not really not baseball season. But dude, Trey Turner was having horrible. He was horrible for a minute. What'd the Phillies do, Matt? What'd the Phillies
give him that standing O, baby.
When Jalen Hurts plays good, what do we say?
I mean, I say yay. Well,
or we
QB1.
or what else do we do when he struggles?
Oh, I know people want to say he sucks and we need to bench him and
yeah. we don't bring the same energy. We don't give that even energy. Like when guys are struggling, you want to pick them up. I get that. I understand that. I feel like Jalen doesn't get that.
I, see, I don't know. I think there are people that will not criticize Hurts at all, and then there's people that'll overly criticize him. Like honestly, sadly, yeah. If you're gonna ask here's my opinion about yesterday. He made enough plays. He missed some open guys, but he made some nice throws. He needs to be better against better defenses. You will still get people that will blame the head coach and give me highlight tape of the Super Bowl game in 2022 against Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
I'm telling you right now, 2022, that's not Jalen. That is not Jalen Hurts. That Jalen, where defenses didn't know what the hell he was doing, that's not him anymore. Defenses know what he does.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see highlights of the Super Bowl game against Patrick Mahomes anymore. That Jalen's not here.
It's like with the
defenses are not sitting in single high safety against the Eagles anymore. The league has caught up to Jalen. He needs to be better. If they want to win a Super Bowl, he needs to be better. You should not sit there and see 8 plays where he misses guys. He still does not like to look over the middle of the field. He can like that touchdown pass to Devontae Smith yesterday, absolutely beautiful. That big run on third down when he gets like 25 yards, absolutely beautiful. The tush push, absolutely beautiful. But that Dan Orlovsky play where he's looking, that's the first drive of the game. People want to talk about the stupid script, the stupid 10 plays, and they want to blame the head coach. Well, guess what? 7 out of the 10 plays worked yesterday, so there's your, this script is only Nick Sirianni because it sucks. No, throw that out the fucking window. And then guess what? He took a sack and had 2 incomplete passes where he has guys wide open and he's not looking. So yes, I like Jalen, but he needs to play better. The pass game can be opened up because there's shit that he just does not look at. And he does not want to throw. The problem with the pass game is the fact that he is playing too cautiously. If it is a play and he can see someone open early and he will be decisive and get the ball out. If he has to make progression 2, progression 3, progression 4, he does not want to throw the ball and commit a turnover. That is where the passing offense needs to improve. And you will get people that will not criticize Hurts at all, and you will get people that literally criticize every single thing when it's somewhere in the middle. Because 2022 Jalen Hurts is not walking through that fucking door, and you haven't seen him in 2 years. And I'm sorry, 2022 Jalen Hurts is the anomaly here. You have 4 years of Jalen Hurts where he's been good, a top 15 quarterback in the league, and that's okay. He's doing enough to win you games, and he's not turning the ball over. That is very good. But 2022 Jalen Hurts, where he's deep bombing and shredding the defense, that's the anomaly. And I think people need to be okay with that. He's a top 15 quarterback. If he plays he's probably a top 10 quarterback this year. Because I think quarterback play around the league is down. And they're freaking 11-2 and a great football team.
But the sky is falling. And
yeah, but I mean, you oh God, and God forbid they beat Pittsburgh by 10 next week, and those same fans that are sitting there going, "Fire the head coach, the quarterback needs to be benched. This team sucks. We only beat the Panthers by 6." Are going to be sitting there going, "Oh my God, this team's so good." When, dude, you have to understand. Look at where they were at in the schedule. Look how Carolina is playing going into that game, and the fact that Carolina had a little more luck. Your defense played bad, and tip your cap to the game plan of Carolina. They controlled the ball. Their defense didn't let the Eagles sustain drives, and Bryce Young made a handful of very good plays extending. And people will look at the box score and people go, oh, it's Bryce Young. Ha ha ha. No, the Eagles against a average mobile quarterback, or probably against, an average mobile quarterback against Russell Wilson at this age, and against a handful of other quarterbacks that they have played this year. That Eagles defense yesterday has like 7 or 8 sacks.
Yeah.
Bryce Young did you. I want people, whether they're Eagles fans or not, to watch that game back and watch how Bryce Young used his legs properly, and not how he was doing at the beginning of the year, to get out of pressure and to give himself an area to make a good, accurate throw while extending the play. Because that's the difference. If he didn't have the pocket management that he had yesterday, the Eagles get 8 sacks. They probably win that game by 20. But there was multiple times where there was 3 or 4 Eagles that almost had sacks. Young navigated the pocket well, got outside, got his feet planted, and found Adam Thielen. And when those plays happen, yes, a bad team will stay close.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Because that's what football is all about.
But people, like you said, Matt, that box score, people are so fixated on that freaking box score that it's unbelievable.
Yes.
Really, when you just said that, I was like even looking at the box score on my phone, and I'm like, yeah, you can see the stats, and you're like looking at guys having 11 tackles. If you're having I don't know, you mentioned on a previous show, probably a couple years ago, about guys with 140 I think we talked about off-season, I think an off-season show or something like that. But you mentioned guys having 140 tackles. And it's like, well, how many tackles for losses did this guy
Yep.
have? You know what I mean? Like you could have 140 tackles. How many were assisted? How many were solo?
Yep.
And why the hell are you having 140 tackles? You know what I mean? Because your defense doesn't, you know what I mean? Those defensive tackles, if you're having 60, 70 tackles, then you're stopping something.
Yep.
So linebackers, 140 tackles. Then they're making it past the fucking line. You know what I mean? I don't know. That box score comment you made just really kind of, resonates big time. Because, dude, it's all it is, dude, look at the box score, look at Twitter, look at the box score, and like you said, we've said it, I think we need to put it on a fucking a shirt or something. Keep off the phone.
Yeah. Well, because, even if you look at Jalen's.
Like I said, yesterday we were watching the game on Discord. I started to
Yep. No, you're good.
But, yesterday we were watching, the game and stuff like that, and, we'd see somebody down. But because we knew that the feed was delayed, I'm over here going, okay, well, what's the update on that person? CJ, I know we'll talk about the defense at some point because we've kind of went into the offense, talk about the offense. But I know we're going to play our, take a commercial break here in a minute. But, we'll kind of get into the defense. But, just we're looking at I look at the phone based off to see injuries.
Yep.
Why did somebody go out? Because those guys like Zangaro, John Clark, they're at the game. They're on the field. They have more access than we do. They say, oh, this guy's getting to the medical tent. Those Fox or CBS guys, they're not, doing that shit in real time. Those guys are there. They're seeing the guys walk to the, the sidelines. That's the only reason I use my phone.
You looked. Gets hurt. You looked yesterday after CJGJ went out the first time.
Yeah.
And it was during commercial you looked and then said, oh, he's back on the sideline with his helmet. And we're like, oh, shit, okay, good.
Yeah. So, I'm looking and going, oh, what's this guy? I'm not bringing it up because, it's just, it has no importance to anything.
Yeah.
I'm looking at for important things. Okay, this guy goes down. Okay, what are they saying? Oh, okay, concussion. All right, cool. All right, let's whatever. Oh, this guy hurt his knee. You know what I mean? We're kind of, we want to keep update on who's in the game, who's not in the game. We don't want to, because Fox or CBS, they're kind of covering it on a national level and for the national level. But we're Eagle fans, so we want to be in the know when it comes to our team. This is our team. We follow their team, and we do a podcast on the team. So, of course, we need to know what the fuck's going on.
Yep.
And that's why I keep looking at the phone. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna look at the phone. Like, I got the tablet watching the game, but like, my eyes are pretty much like right up against like an inch later, and I'm sleeping on the fucking keyboard. You know what I mean, on the tablet. But Matt, let's do a commercial break real quick. We'll play a little Christmas music, and we'll come back, uh, and we'll talk about the defense. We'll play a we'll play a good one today. This will be funny. All right, we'll be right back.
Vacation home alone.
The best time of the year. There's holiday cheer. From the North Pole to Boca Raton.
The reindeer are gearing up. Through the sky that sleigh it soars.
Merry Christmas. Bring the booze from our family to yours.
Bring the boom, bring the boom. Bring it all the way. Oh, what fun it is to bring the boom this holiday. Bring the boom, bring the boom. Listen to the sound. In the new year, keep on bringing the boom the whole year round. In the new year, keep on bringing the boom the whole year round. In the new year, keep on bringing the boom the whole year
Hey guys, this show is brought to you by W. Do you like energy drinks like we do? Well, go over to our friends at W by visiting their website, w.gg, and buy some energy products. And at checkout, you can use our promo code ITERCPOD at checkout and save 10% off your order. Again, W is clean energy, and we thank them for the support. Now back to the program. All right, we're back here on Inside Eagles Red Zone podcast on a Victory Monday, Matt. We just talked about offensive performance yesterday against the Carolina Panthers. Wasn't pretty. The passing game needs to kind of shore up some things, and they'll get an opportunity next Sunday against Pittsburgh.
Bring the boom, baby.
Dude, I started laughing.
That's the best song of all time.
No, they call that "Time to Life."
Yeah.
They call it the cringiest part of that song. I was like waiting for it. Like I was looking for you to like start laughing, but like the whole time of the year, this holiday cheer. And I'm like, oh god, that's what you got. Oh man.
I
But, you
love
know,
it.
in 10 years, they're really gonna be like, yeah, they're gonna be.
They're gonna be stacking that money, but they're gonna be like, "Good
They're-
lord."
Yeah, we're gonna be like, yo, fucking dude. They're gonna be pulling like that shit, dude. They're amazing. It's the holiday
Oh, I
season,
love
man.
it.
I have some surprises. I was gonna say I have some surprises for you on this podcast. You know, so I guess we should you know maybe every week we'll do like a holiday surprise for you.
That's true. We are 16
So
days away from Christmas.
yeah. So I guess I, I guess our first gift will be done. I'm trying to do this live on the air. Oh, EP just said. Oh, okay, I was
Nope,
gonna
she's
say,
back.
I don't even see her.
She didn't like to bring the boom.
No, she didn't like to bring the boom. She definitely did not like to bring the boom. But I guess one of the. Boom. All right, Matt. So you got your first part of the Christmas gift should be here before soon. So yeah, you're getting a Merry Christmas to you. Um, but you're getting a fucking thing of protein powder.
Let's go!
Should be there December 11th.
Oh, we love it.
December 11th. So
We love it, baby.
that's a Merry Christmas. But yeah. So let's get into the defense, and let's talk about the conversation that you kind of said in regards to a certain safety, and we'll kind of because Blanket was out,
Yes.
but you said something off air that I kind of want to.
I know. I hope EP is in a comfortable.
Where the hell is EP?
She's here,
Okay.
but I do not like the Boom family.
I love the Boom family.
I do hope she's sitting down for this.
Yes. Okay. Sitting down.
But-
Hold on.
They missed Reed Blankenship yesterday. No, we love the Boom EP. Not F the Boom. Love the Boom. But this defense definitely missed Reed Blankenship yesterday.
No! Oh, damn.
And
Holy shit.
and
Yep.
I think the big thing with that, especially, was in the run game. Like Hubbard was actually very slippery yesterday, and I didn't think the defensive line or even necessarily the linebackers were tackling at their best yesterday. But watching. I got through the first half of the condensed game. I need to finish it, and then tomorrow, obviously, I'll be watching all 22. But there were a lot of instances where I just don't think McCollum trusted himself enough and trusted what he was seeing to come down into the box and get involved in the run. The thing with Reed Blankenship is I don't think he's great in coverage, but CJGJ being there allows Reed to kind of do what he does best. He is very quick to see the play and attack, and I think that's why he has a handful of interceptions this year. And to me, he's done a very good job at making plays in the run game to where if the running back gets to that second level, before they get to the third level and, turn that 7-yard gain into a 15 to 20-yard game, Blankenship's normally there to get involved and get in on the play and make the tackle. And I think them not having him yesterday allowed some of those Hubbard runs to get a handful of extra yards. And I know that doesn't sound like much, But there were some of those drives that Carolina had where, it was 2nd and 7, and Hubbard would get 5 or 6 and turn it into a 3rd and short. Where I think if you have Blankenship there yesterday, maybe those runs are only 3 to 4 yards, and Carolina's in a 3rd and long instead of a 3rd and short. Or even if Sidney Brown was available too, I think he would have played okay in that spot. But having to go to McCollum, I just don't think you could just kind of see there was some hesitance in him coming down into the box on run plays, or he would pull back in and start to go back out in case it was a play action, and you could just tell it's a guy that hasn't gotten a lot of playing time this year. So I think Reed Blankenship had a big factor in the running game success of Carolina.
And then that kind of says a lot.
Yeah.
But like we talked about it off air, Matt. Though, like I think this team has guys that have roles. Like everybody has a role on a football team. Everybody has. So you gotta like we talk. I kind of brought it up to you like off the air. Like if you have a job and like you're out, like if you call off sick or something like that, like that person that has to do your job might not be as good as you are. So like that drop off.
Yep.
It's like McCollum's not like a guy who's playing like to play every because like Reed was playing a lot, and then like you put Tristan McCollum in there, and he's not playing every snap, so he's not used to the things or the responsibilities of like a Reed Blankenship. As much as there's been kind of not much love for Reed, but we give Reed his props when needed. But he's not an elite safety.
No. He's definitely a lot better with CJGJ being next to him. Like Reed's your old school strong safety to where he should be playing in the box. He's going to attack downhill. Doesn't have great coverage responsibilities, and that's where you let CJGJ either get the coverage responsibilities or kind of roam center field. And you could just tell, like, McCollum not being out on the field as much, not getting a lot of snaps. He just wasn't necessarily ready for those situations, especially with how much Carolina was running. When you're a safety, like, you can't be hesitant. You have to fill that hole or drop back into coverage. And you could just see him not being familiar with that situation or just being used to being out on the field. That little bit of hesitancy on that back end of the defense, that'll hurt you in the pass game and in the run game.
Yeah. No, and that's you got anything else you want to mention about Reed Blankenship?
No.
So I want to mention somebody who we've kind of given some love to, for quite a while, and that is the front, that Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, and Jomo and Milton Williams. Like, what did you think yesterday of their performance?
I think they actually played great. They didn't finish, but they got a lot of pressures. Jalen Carter's a monster. I think people are finally starting to get on the Ojimo train, which is good. Welcome aboard.
We've been on that train for a little bit.
And Booker actually got in there a handful of times too. I know he's a guy that doesn't get a lot of snaps, but he made the most of his snaps yesterday. They just I'm really going to find a handful of plays tomorrow when I watch the tape back. I already know it, where I'm just going to sit there and be like, dude, like, let's tip our cap to Bryce Young, because I don't know how many times watching the game live yesterday where I was like, oh shit, we're going to get a sack. And it turned into an extended play and a broken play. Like, the line actually really did a good job, got pressure, won at the line of scrimmage a handful of times, They just didn't finish.
Yeah, and people will take that comment as like, well, what does that mean?
True.
You know,
What
if you
they
don't finish,
you
if you
need
don't finish, you're
to
not really. Yeah,
you need to force
finish
the
when.
incompletion or get the sack. They got hands on him. They forced him out of the pocket. But you have that's finishing would be getting the sack,
Yeah,
tackling him behind the line of scrimmage when he scrambles, especially if he decides to take off as a runner. Um, and some of that, ended up helping Carolina out a little bit in the run game. I think because there were plays where, especially looked like the edge rushers got a little over aggressive, and Carolina was able to, find them little cracks and little holes that their offensive line was creating due to that. But if you get pressure like that aspect of it, you need to be very happy with because you're not going to get slithery. Like you played two quarterbacks the last 2 weeks that can really escape the pocket pretty well in Lamar Jackson and Bryce Young. And, you kind of did a little bit better against Lamar because I don't think you were expecting it from Bryce. But you're not going to face a lot of those quarterbacks like that. I mean, a lot of guys are mobile, but getting out into
yeah,
the pocket, climbing the pocket, maneuvering the pocket when there's rushers coming at you like that, I'll tell you right now, if I'm Carolina, I'm very happy with what I saw with the pocket command and pocket movement out of Bryce Young yesterday. Because seriously, I really think the Eagles should have had like 6 or 7 sacks.
um, yeah, and it's just and like that front four. What did you think about Nolan Smith? Like we've kind of, I don't know, been more impressed every week with Nolan Smith's
Yeah,
performance. What did you think of him this week?
he's starting to like you can tell. I don't know if necessarily he did anything yesterday that popped off the top of my head. I know he got in there a couple times, but I'm very comfortable if he gets majority of the snaps at that one edge side. He needs another pass rush move, but he and something we talked to Cuz about when I asked him. Like you can tell, he's a very high IQ football player. I think he's able to diagnose run play. He had very high play recognition. He is very quick to diagnose whether it's a pass or a run, and I think he did a good job of that yesterday. But that's what you're starting to see consistency. He didn't get a sack yesterday, but you're starting to see consistency out of him, and I think to me that's more important. Like the sack numbers will come, but if you are consistently getting pressure from that edge spot and diagnosing whether it's a pass or a run, yeah, the numbers will come, but that play recognition is something you can't really teach.
No, yeah, it's something that like, and like we mentioned, we kind of gave love to as a certain line coach earlier today in our
Yeah,
pre-talk, but Clint Hurt, the defensive line coach.
I like you. Fangio's scheme is obviously being like the scheme and what he's doing is great. Uh, I love what this defensive line is doing though. Like you are seeing Josh Sweat play the run better than he has before. Uh, Jalen Carter's Jalen Carter, but I think, especially over the last couple weeks too, like I think what you're getting out of Jordan Davis has been extremely impressive. What you're getting out of Milton Williams and Ojimo, like
Yeah,
that
Milton
is a
Williams.
little bit on the player. It's a little bit on Fangio. A lot of it is on that defensive line coach too, because that's the guy
Milton
that's
Williams
working
gives
on them with
yeah,
the moves.
yeah. Milton Williams, he's playing fucking out.
Yeah, he's playing himself in. He's going to be a starting defensive tackle somewhere next year.
And he's going to get paid.
Yep.
He's paid, you know, to be a fucking starter.
Yeah.
He's definitely he's disruptive when he's on the field. You definitely notice him out there, and he's probably going to get some fucking big money.
Yeah.
So
definitely
kudos to him, man. I can't be mad. He's played fucking great. He's done his role well. You know that Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis are definitely your starters. But he'll be a starter somewhere in the league.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Be a starter, next contract. Jomo this is year 2, so you'll get another 2 years out of him, and But I think the Eagles really do and that's one thing I've said for years on this program is, talking about this offensive line and defensive line. They get guys they really shore up that defensive line. They really shore up the offensive line. They know how to, pick the big boys. Some teams do not know how to. They get guys that are still are so they've been playing too long. The guys that need to give it up.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Yeah, it's just crazy that some teams. Let's talk about the negatives, Matt. One thing that I kind of, Zach Baun played, as advertised, played pretty well. What did you think of the linebackers yesterday for Philly?
They played okay. They're able to diagnose, but I feel like they didn't finish their tackles well. Zach Baun had a couple good ones, especially where the plays he was able to shoot the gap and get Chuba in the backfield, but handful of times where defensive line kind of made the play and slowed him up, but he just wasn't the linebackers weren't there to finish before Hubbard got an extra 2 yards, and they were probably due for. I guess I'm going to word it sloppy, just because, I've seen them play with good form and on their toes and more alert than what they were yesterday.
Anything on that secondary?
Quinion, fantastic. Slay, couple huge plays. This was the welcome to the NFL moment for Cooper DeJean. And to me, that's okay. I know I've jokingly talked about Adam Thielen being a fossil. He didn't beat up DeJean yesterday with speed. I think I used in the watch party yesterday, I think I used the NFL scout term that you will get for a white wide receiver, that he's a savvy route runner. And honestly, I think a lot of the success Thielen had yesterday against DeJean was that route running. He's just did that. Thielen's never been a speed guy. I know he's old. He's at the end of his run. You have to remember that before he lost the little speed that he had, this guy was a second-team All-Pro, multiple-time Pro Bowler, 1,000-yard plus wide receiver. Diggs didn't want to play next to him because he was taking some of the glory from Diggs. He was the number one wide receiver in Minnesota before they go and get Justin Jefferson. Now what Carolina's done is put him in the slot, and he is kind of turned into the de facto comfort blanket for Bryce Young. And Thielen did a lot of great moves at the top and beginning of his routes yesterday, and I think some of that just threw DeJean off a little bit. And some of the play calls, some of the route concepts that were designed to get Thielen open, I thought was actually drawn up very well by Carolina's offensive team. They did a lot of stuff to where, when DeJean was in man coverage, kind of running two people at him, so he would kind of have to swim over one wide receiver and the other Eagle corner to get to Thielen. And that's where, Thielen got a little bit of separation, and he had very good hands. Am I concerned about Cooper DeJean? No. Not every slot receiver is going to be the route technician that Adam Thielen is. So I think that was just a case of a veteran that knows how to get open going up against a eager, aggressive rookie and kind of showing him the lay of the land.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, I think it's, again, it's a welcome to the NFL moment for Coop.
Yeah. The Eagles did, I think they played a decent amount of man yesterday. Probably trying to take advantage of that. And, dude, I mean, like, there's times where we look at it from a positive because it's us. But, like, there's times where A.J. Brown just bullies teams' number one corners. And obviously, we love it, and it's great for us because we're Eagles fans. But if we were, if we were a Carolina podcast, we would be going, oh, my God, there's times where J.C. Horn was in good coverage and A.J. Brown just blew right by him or outmuscled him to the ball. Sometimes that happens. It hasn't happened often, especially for Cooper DeJean, but yesterday was that, guess what? I know you're hot shit. You're not a safety. You're a corner that's locking down the number one, but Adam Thielen said, no, not today, rookie.
Yeah. And, Adam Thielen's a professional wide receiver.
Yes.
So, it's just... Matt in the private sends me a private message. Wanted to know what our thoughts were on the officiating yesterday.
They missed the face mask on Calcaterra, and Jalen Carter gets held every single play and doesn't get a call. But other than that, I thought they were okay.
I want robo umps.
I get the refs. It's hard to see shit. I get it.
Yeah.
But I think with what they do now with I love what they've done where yesterday, the Leggett drop that would have given Carolina the lead with 45 seconds left. They automatically, I know it was under 2 minutes, but it didn't need to get challenged. They looked at the replay before it got challenged and said, no, that's an incomplete pass. You should be when it is like that, like the Calcaterra face mask, you're seeing that replay and you're in New York or, wherever. Oh, yeah, we went to New York showing us and said that should have been a penalty. When it's like that, they should be able to go, yo, no, that was you missed a penalty, throw the flag and give it the first down. Because then guess what? If fans if that game was in Carolina and they would have called that, then look, you throw the replay up on the Jumbotron, and then if the fans are still booing, then boo the team for making a mistake. Because you're ultimately getting it right. And you can ultimately get it right with reviewing plays and reviewing drop passes. You should be able to be like, no, you missed a blatant call here. Throw the flag 15 yards, first down. Will they ever incorporate that? I don't know, but I think they should.
You don't think they would ever incorporate? You don't think you're not sure?
No, because then technically you'd be able to look at every single play, and that's their fear.
It'll take a lot of time. Those games will go so long.
Yeah, that's the NFL's fear. That's why every play is not reviewable. I just think when it's blatant like that, make it for face masks and pass interference calls, something like that. Because those are the calls that they'll throw the flag for, and then they'll get looked at, and then they have the discussion, and then they get looked at. And there's times where they throw those flags and have their little conference, and they pick it up, and they're wrong. And
yeah,
Other times they throw the flag, have their conference, and go like, okay, yeah, and they're right. So if you're able to have a conference about a penalty, then you should be able to. Then they should be able to use the replay and go like, no, like you missed it, or yeah, like there it is.
Oh, we forgot to mention um, when we were talking about the edge rushers. I totally forgot. Jalen Hunt.
I'll tell you what,
We did not mention him at all.
that's true, and he deserves a tip of the cap because this dude is really starting to play some good ball, and they took him in the third round, and okay, this is a project. Maybe it was a little early. I'm liking what I'm starting to see out of Jalen Hunt. The more snaps he's getting,
Yeah. Yeah, I really. Yeah.
he's got enough speed. I know he's a former safety, but he's got enough speed. He's got enough strength. He's actually winning off the line of scrimmage sometimes.
Yeah.
Which for a third round pick, that was a project. Okay, sign me up. And I think he can play the run too. And if we go on a playoff run, I would not be surprised if one of these playoff games he makes a big play where we go like, holy crap, look at this kid. Because he's starting to pop.
Yeah. No. Boom. Exactly. He's very much a big surprise. Because like, I mean, dude, you drafted him in the third round, so you kind of think, hey, maybe he should, do well. You would want your third round picks to do well,
Yeah.
but those third round picks are kind of suspect. But and for what he was, drafted, and then, like you said, former safety, in kind of like a new scheme. But like, as a rookie, when all you know is college, and then you get to the NFL, and then you're learning from the fucking, a Fangio type guy. Some of these guys, man, they've had so many defensive court, like, what I mean, like a guy like I know BG's hurt, but like BG, played under Gannon. He's played under so many different defensive court. Billy Davis, you know what I mean, like all these guys have played under different defensive coordinators, and like when you have like Fangio as like your first defensive coordinator, like that's what you know. You know what I mean? Like that's good. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
No, I think you're dead on.
Yeah. Do we want to finish with a unpopular conversation with the love of this 2017 Super Bowl team?
Hell yeah.
Let's talk about the kicker.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Hold on. Let's talk about first before we get into the kicker. Let's talk about the decision to punt. Let's talk about Braden Mann. What a fucking kick yesterday.
The punt? The punt? Hell yeah, dude. That was a genius decision. I think Mann's been great, and I mean he's a punter, so you're not going to talk about him and give him credit. But his punt against the Ravens flipped the field position and changed the momentum last week. And honestly, that punt yesterday helped win you the game.
Kickers and punters don't get love. We give love.
That's
Much
right.
love to you. Not gonna, we're gonna give love to one kicker, and we're gonna be critical of another kicker, as we've been critical of this person. And that's Jake Elliott. Matt, yesterday you were fired up about Jake.
I hate him.
I think at one point you said something about taking the C off his jersey.
Yep.
How do you feel about Jake Elliott today at 6:15 p.m. Eastern time?
I hate kickers. I hate Jake. I don't want to see footage from 2022 Jalen Hurts Super Bowl. I don't give two shits that Jake Elliott was on the Super Bowl winning Eagles team.
What about that
And
kick against the Giants in 20? What about that
congratulations. He hit a 61-yarder. Whoop-de-fucking-do. 7 years ago, by the way. 7 years ago, by the way.
What were you doing 7 years ago?
Watching that team going like, oh my God, the kicker actually made a kick. Here's the thing. Kickers are relief pitchers. They're good until they're not. When they're bad, you need to cut bait and move the fuck on. This guy missed an extra point yesterday. Hasn't hit a field goal over 50 yards all year. And you cannot trust him. Would you put a relief pitcher in that you cannot trust? No. Unless you're Rob Thompson. I really think they are doing a disservice if they do not start bringing kickers in and stash one on the practice squad. Because I know, Eric, I know we've said it for like 5 or 6 weeks now. Do you want to know why Nick goes for it on fourth down? And, I mean, he hasn't even done that a lot lately. He's been very smart, very clean. But those games earlier in the year, you know why he was going for it on fourth down? Because you can't trust the damn kicker. He can't hit. It's not like he's missing field goals in really windy conditions. Like that shit, okay, fine. Whatever. It's super windy, you probably shouldn't be kicking. There was no wind yesterday. This dude can't hit an extra point. He can't hit a fucking 50-yard field goal. And you have to sit there, and they are relief pitchers because you get a kicker like Dallas has Brandon Aubrey.
Yeah.
That guy can boot it from 73, dead accurate, no problem. I'm watching Cameron Dicker the kicker.
We had him.
We had him filling in for Jake when he was sick, or when he was hurt. Boom, this motherfucker's kicking, no problem. The Chiefs, Harrison Butker's hurt. They've had 3 or 4 different kickers that can make kicks.
Matt Wright.
The Matt Wright yesterday, a little sneaky, a little scary.
They had that Strider kid?
Yeah.
Whatever.
But, dude, I need a guy that can kick a 50-yard field goal through the damn uprights, and Jake Elliott can't do it.
Yeah.
So fuck him. I don't care what he did 7 years ago. That's great. Kickers are relief pitchers.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because he's like one of those guys that will, be a part of that Super Bowl team. But again, we'll talk about stuff from 7 years ago.
Yeah. And that's why, and dude, it's a kicker. Never get a kicker's jersey. I'm sorry. Don't do it. I used to laugh at girls in middle school and in high school that had David Akers jerseys. So why'd you get a kicker's jersey? Are you dumb?
You didn't get Donovan McNabb jersey.
Yeah, you have T.O., you have Dawkins, and they're out here getting David Akers jerseys.
Well, maybe they thought they were hot. Maybe
That's true, maybe.
Maybe they wanted to, I don't know. In middle school, they probably Akers is yeah, yeah, it's gotta be like, hey, he's hot. He looks good. That sounds like something KD would do.
True. And then add him to your fantasy team. EP does not think Jake Elliott is cute. Jake Elliott, he looks like a weasel dick. And now he can't hit a kick. Get him off the fucking team.
Next week on the podcast, Matt Nable versus Jake Elliott.
You know what? I can't kick. I'd probably have more confidence in myself hitting a 40-yarder than he would.
Oh man. And I think like Nick's kind of like starting to like. You think he's too loyal? I don't know. Like he didn't send him out to kick that that 50-yarder yesterday. You think Nick is loyal to like too loyal to some of those guys? Or
No, I
he
mean
just,
they
he's
don't they don't
just
have
happy?
another kicker. He can't
Yeah,
like.
yeah, no.
I guarantee you, if Nick had his choice, he'd be going, get me a new fucking kicker so I can take points. Yesterday,
Who else?
that punt told you there is no trust. He's going to say, yeah, I trust you, out in the media because that's what you don't flame a motherfucker in the media if you're doing your job properly. But that situation yesterday proved that he does not trust the kicker, and I can't blame him because he's going to miss it. And here's the thing. People are going, why would you punt there? If Elliott misses that kick, then Carolina has a 40-yard or 50-yard field. They get the ball right around midfield. And you're just asking, and okay, yeah, then you would trust the defense, but I'm sorry, would you rather have an opportunity to pin them inside their 10, or would you rather give them the ball close to midfield when you're up a touchdown?
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I don't know. You got anything else to say about this team?
I think people need to stop overreacting. You're not going to win every game by 20. Don't look at the box score because I know we had that conversation before the break. But yes, he only had 88 yards, but he made like 3 or 4 important throws and a couple plays with his legs. And you're going to get a better effort against Pittsburgh.
All right, so we got about 5 minutes left in this game. We'll in this podcast. Let's kind of go through the scores for yesterday, and we'll call it a day. And then we'll whatever else we need to touch on, we'll touch on tomorrow. Okay?
I love it.
Thursday night, we had the Lions beat the Packers 34-31. That was interesting. It was an interesting game. The Packers. That was a competitive game, but Lions take that game. Anything real quick you want to talk about?
I know people around here like really hype up the Packers. I don't see it. I mean, I like what they're doing with running the ball with Jacobs and whatnot, and I think you can run on Detroit. There's just some execution from Jordan Love that leaves a lot to be desired, and I think you can exploit that secondary. So for like all the love that the Packers are getting about how good they are and whatnot, they're a good team, but I'm not worried about them like people are when they talk about the NFC North and how great it is.
Steelers beat the Browns 27-14. Steelers will be playing in Philadelphia next Sunday, 4:25 matchup. Should be interesting. We'll cover that game throughout the week. The Saints beat the Giants. Boy, the Giants stink.
They fucking stink.
Stinky. Dolphins over the Jets, 32-26. Aaron Rodgers and the Jets eliminated from playoff contention.
Stink.
They stink too. Another stinker yesterday. The Jags beat the Titans 10-6. So we were kind of laughing during the Eagles game about how that game was moving ahead. Yes, 16 fucking points. That definitely hit the under. That game's a stinker. Vikings over the Falcons 42-21. Is Kirk Cousins now a stinker?
Yes.
Bucks over the Raiders 28-13. We have one more question before we wrap the show up from Mr. Z, as we call him. 28-13. The Seahawks beat the Cardinals yesterday 30-18. 49ers beat up on the Bears. I got my paycheck. My paid off the Bears under 8.5. Thank you. Come again. In a shootout, Matt, the Rams beat the Bills 44-42. That was exciting. And another Sunday night football matchup. It was the Chiefs beat the Chargers 19-17. Tonight, 8:15 matchup. The Cowboys play host to the Cincinnati Bengals.
Ugh.
Matt, what a good, fun week of football talk.
Buffalo and the Rams, great game. Kansas City Chargers, great game. Jacksonville, Tennessee, ugly game. Over under that game was 40.5.
Yeah.
They didn't even hit half.
It should have took the under 20, 25, yeah. I see that it's a fucking 1 o'clock game next week. Jets Jaguars. Boy, that's gonna be hit the under on that one. Hit the under.
Under.
I see Patriots Cardinals. Whatever that is.
Yeah, that's
under.
a stinker.
That's an under. Falcons Raiders Monday night. Take the under. Go under.
Dude, Falcons Raiders Monday night?
I don't even. Yeah.
Oh, that's a stink job.
Fucking stink job, yes. Mr. Z in the chat room, my Facebook messages, says Barkley's 483 yards off the record. Do you think he gets it?
You know what? Yes. That depends if he can hit 100 this week against Pittsburgh, but I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, I'm going to go yes. And if not, he's going to be very short of it.
Oh. Sorry.
I watched the Eagles decide to throw the ball 40 times this week.
I was looking at the slate of games for next week.
Yeah. That would be fucking hilarious. No, we've talked. Yeah, I was gonna say, Matt, definitely go back and check out the first hour. But yeah, definitely we talked a lot about that AJ Brown. Yeah, I noticed something about this new microphone. Everything is very sensitive to this freaking microphone. I can't even put my keys down on the table without making a noise. I need to get one of those things that, like one of those things. The circle. I have one, but the shit is.
Oh, the little mic screen?
Yeah, the screen. I have one.
I think I had an extra one, but I don't know if it might be in my bedroom at my parents' house.
No, I have one. I have one for my another mic. When I had bought another mic, but this one wasn't a USB mic, and it doesn't work.
Yes.
So I had to, and I literally like the case. It doesn't have like a stand. It didn't have a stand. It was just. Yeah, I have another one. I have a podcast thing. I think I brought it actually. It's like one of those ones you fucking you put it on like a wall and stuff like that. And
Okay, yeah.
so
Early prediction for next week: take AJ Brown over receiving yards.
yes, yeah, everything will be chilled out. And
Then Marcus Hayes will write an article about how he shoves gingerbread cookies up his asshole.
yeah, I would love do like the fucking the get would be Marcus Hayes. I would love to have Marcus Hayes on the podcast.
Let's say, why are you such a miserable fuck?
It would be like a 5-minute interview because and I'd be laughing, especially if he saw you like you'd give him the intimidating face, like do a video and just give him like that air, like the mean look, like somebody fucking went in and fucking told you to go, like, angry Matt, like when that fucking company calls you and tries to sell you fucking home repair, and you just go, what the fuck?
I hate them. I hope they never call me again.
Have they been calling? Have you
No.
had stupid calls in a while? No.
Luckily, but it is winter time, so I'll probably get a break, and then they'll be back around spring, and I'll be pissed off
Why
again.
is it not? What? Okay, there we go. I was like, what the? I'm like, why the hell is it not letting me hit the trying to play the outro? But Matt, anything else you wanna? You want me to play this? We'll play the soundbite real quick, and then we'll do the W read real quick, and then we'll
Yes,
wrap it up.
sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So yeah, we'll do real quick, and then I'll play this W read, and then we'll come back and we'll do our final goodbyes and our outro. Hey guys, this show is brought to you by Redzone. If you like energy drinks like we do, go support Redzone. W.E. Buy some energy products. And at checkout, add to your cart at checkout and save 10% off your order. Again, W is food, energy. Thank you very much. Now back to the program. I need to find a way to give like an outro, like where like we know it's the final read of the day, and then that way we can actually like say hey and back to the program. But, Matt, I want to thank you for for doing everything, being the co-host, and anything else you want to say before we go through the end?
No, though. Thanks everyone that checked us out today. Give us a download and join us tomorrow. We'll look at some tape from this game and probably a little Josh Allen too. A little teaser.
Yeah, it'll be good. Definitely a good show. But thanks again for listening. Definitely go back and check out the archive. It was a good conversation. Definitely for the Colts fans. Definitely check it out. For Matt Namo, I'm Merrick Williams, and we're out of here. Peace.